We're all going through a real scary time right now, and it's hard to decipher what to believe and what to think when you watch the news. I'm here in quarantine. It's my fourth day, basically, without leaving the house. I did take one trip down to the grocery store 2 days ago, but I haven't really left the house for 2 days, and I'm really not planning on leaving until I get a handle on what's going on. And I would advise everybody else to do the same. If you've got food and if you've got everything you need in your home, stay at home. Stay at home until we get a handle on what's going on. And they're advising us to do that because that way we don't spread the disease into the community, and then this virus will die out on its own. I don't want this show to be a doomsday scenario show. I want this show to be about talking about how we're finding some optimism and how we're coping with what's going on with this scary and unprecedented situation. And so I'm going to be speaking with my friends, and I have a lot of amazing and talented friends, and I feel very, very lucky to have so many great people that I've gotten to know over the years. One of those people is the incredibly talented, legendary, greatest of all time magician, Criss Angel, who is calling me today from his home in Las Vegas. Hello, Criss.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, how are you? How are you, bud?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm just sitting here. I wake up in the morning and every day for the last few days, and I say, wait, what's happening again? Is this actually happening? Is this actually happening?
It's surreal, right?
It's very surreal, and I think I've gotten over a little bit of the panic phase, and I'm now at the trying to occupy myself with stuff. And I know I've seen you doing some amazing things on Instagram and entertaining me and everyone with your magic. And how are you doing? How are you coping with all of this? And how's the family?
Well, our family's good. Thank you for asking. I think, Tom, it's all about how you look at challenges that life throws in your face. You can either look at a situation with optimism or with negative energy. And I'm an optimistic guy. I look at it and I try to always find, the positive, even in a pandemic. And to me, the thing that I find is that we take for granted so much because we live in our own little worlds every day. We do what we do. We turn the camera on ourselves, and it's about our self-importance in this world of illusion because our world is not real. And this is like a freaking wake-up call of what reality is. And that is the things that we take for granted, our families, the people that we love, taking a moment. And I'm using this time to kind of spend it with my kids and my family and doing things that I've always wanted to do but never took the time to do. And I'm hoping that my belief in the human spirit and how resilient it is, that we're going to come out of this, we'll be stronger than ever. We'll be able to look into the future and be able to be in a better situation, I'm hopeful, than we are right now with the reaction and our supply and where we're at with, pharmaceutical dependency. We need to be a little bit more self-reliant, I think. I think every country should be. So I'm just living in the moment and trying to smell the flowers, and with my kids and trying to deal with Johnny Christopher's chemo and his cancer treatment and all that stuff. But we're trying to, do it with some fun.
Yeah, you've had all the best to Johnny Christopher and to everyone, and just I hope you're able to spend some more time with him now because of this. I mean, this is just outrageous what's happening. It's been kind of a crazy year for you and crazy few years for you, and then and for Las Vegas too. Las Vegas has had a tough time with a lot of tragic events in the last couple of years. How's Vegas handling this?
Well, honestly, I don't leave my house. But, it's think about this, Tom. You play Vegas all the time. I mean, in your lifetime, Vegas has never shut down. It's an adult playground. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week, 12 months a year. And to think that Vegas would close for a day would be a mind-blowing thought. But to think that it's going to be closed for who knows is just absolutely surreal. It's the reality of the times that we're going through. And to think Broadway closed, it's just, but I think, as I say, I think this is kind of a reset. I think people are going to want to be entertained. I know that, and I'm sure you get the same thing when I post videos like that hand washing video, whatever, or magic that I do every day on my Twitter or Instagram. I know that people are reacting differently, more appreciative. They're like, thanks, keep the magic coming. We love it. It's a great escape, because it shows people that even though things seem sometimes impossible, we make the impossible possible. And I think that's true with this situation. People are concerned about paying their bills, about losing their jobs, about, what's going on. But I think when we see that anything is possible, and I think because it's affecting everybody, I think the human spirit will prevail, and we'll get through this.
Is there a way that maybe you could give some maybe some tips to people out there on how you can accomplish this kind of optimism? Because over 2 million people lost their jobs yesterday. I know you just
including me,
including you, and including me. You just launched this year your incredible show now at Planet Hollywood, and probably. I know how hard you work. Nobody works harder than you. You're always performing every night for how many years now? 20 years more, doing your show. How long has it been since you've even had a week of not doing your show? I imagine you must be sort of trying to figure out what to do with yourself, and then to find a way to be optimistic and turn that into some positive energy, like the way you're doing right now, is inspiring.
Well, let me ask you this: what are your choices? The choices are be negative or be positive, right? Like, what is the most important thing in the world? Like, what is the most important thing in the world? To me, the most important thing in the world is love, right? Is you are what you think, you are what you put out. It's to put love out in the world. People need love. People need to give love. And during a time of crisis like this, that is the most important thing. Like that and humanity, and taking care of people, and trying to, prevent more deaths and more infections. And so we need to come together. Doesn't matter whatever political persuasion you come from, we come together as people with a common crisis that we need to band together to defeat this situation. And we choose how and what personality we go into that fight with. And I don't know. I just think that, we can't sit here and just think it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. We're going to get through this 1,000,000%. And, yes, you lost your job. I lost my job. And there's people that are my crew and my cast and, all these incredibly committed people that have made me who I am, who I feel such a sense of responsibility to help them. But this crisis has put me in a situation, and other headliners, that we can only do so much. We can only sustain so much as well, because we have a reality to our life with our bills and our families. And so for me, it's about like, okay, I get all that, but what's most important right now? What's most important right now is taking care of yourself, taking care of the people that you love, and having that love and having that optimism, and trying to be a positive force in the world. Like, that's what's important. And that's what keeps me optimistic.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, I was reading, and I've mentioned this to my creative friends, I have lots of friends, as you do, who are artists and comedians, and I was reading about the bubonic plague, and after the bubonic plague was the Renaissance movement, and it was
Right.
it was attributed to the bubonic plague. There was a whole new change of thinking. People changed the way they thought about the world, possibly because of the fear and the shock of the plague, and they've been in quarantine and they had time to think
It's a
about.
paradigm shift. Absolutely.
And I can imagine that you'll probably come up with some incredible new ideas. Do you, for magic, even outside of even the more you were talking about family and you're talking about big things. But I'd like to talk a little bit about some specific magic things. Do you think you're going to spend some time working on new ideas for magic? You're going to come up with some new tricks? Do you think what are you doing with your time all day?
Well, right now I'm spending it with my kids, and then I always go live on my Instagram, and I just kind of talk to people and interact with them, answer questions, talk about where we're at, trying to put optimism out in the world and love in the world. But I also, I mean, if you go to my Instagram or Twitter, I had an idea at 4:30 in the morning. I woke up and I said, a hand wash challenge. That would be a lot of fun. Give people a chance to escape, keeping the theme there. And so I went to bed for a couple hours. Got up at like 7 in the morning, started like creating this thing. I shot it that afternoon, and then took the content on my phone and edited it and literally put it out. And people really connected to that. It was a fun piece. It's good magic, and I always create magic. That's me. But I think what I am going to get out of this experience is that we're so consumed as a society in technology, and we try to utilize those things to kind of numb us from our reality. And I think for me, it's about connecting and using the magic of emotion to really reignite people. And really, when people feel when they watch something, when you talk and do comedy about something that people can relate to, it's far more effective when they can place it in their lives than if you're talking about a subject matter no one knows what the fuck you're talking about. Like, so for me, it's like I can do a trick that's an enigma, like a puzzle that people don't know, and they're like, how did he do that? Or I can be like, screw that. It's not about how I do it. It's about how you feel when you watch it. So I'm much more in tune with that, about how do people feel when they watch it? How can I connect to them on an emotional level? How can you tell a joke that's going to resonate with people and be something practical for their lives, that they can feel something? And that's going to be a much more potent joke than if it's just a random, two guys walking to a bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're all in this together right now. We're all quarantined in our homes, and everyone around the world is doing this and fighting this together. It's unlike anything ever I've experienced in my life, and so there is that commonality there. What are you seeing? Like, are you seeing a difference from? You said you were, but I'm curious to hear a bit more about that. You said you're seeing a difference online from people in the comment sections, a different tone, a different kind of energy. Describe what you're seeing.
I think people have stopped and looked and feel, and because they have more time on their hands, they're stopping, as they say, stop and smell the flowers every once in a while. I think now there's so much time on people's hands that they're just looking for hope. They're looking to connect to something. They're looking to escape. And I feel people are much more appreciative and much more loving with the comments and the direct messages and the things that I've been feeling. Vast majority of it is like a shift It used to be a lot more negativity and, oh, I know how you do that. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Or, it's just stuff and I find with my fans, the loyals and people that connect to me, it's been a big transformation. Like, I don't know. I just notice it. And that people are just more like, hey, thank you so much for doing the magic, today. It really took me away from this. Can you do more? And I don't know, it just really touched my heart. And that's why I go live, because, I don't know, I just feel that Miles Brown yesterday, he's such a talented kid. And we worked together on my television stuff. And he had saw me and he reached out to me, and Miles Brown, I never called me on the phone and say, hey, what's up? What's going? I don't know. I just think people, and he's a great kid, and it's just people are just in a different space right now, obviously, and I think it's affecting them in a way that I think is, for me, I see a difference in a positive way as far as personality, as far as optimism, as far as hope. I do. I really do.
That was Criss Angel calling from his home in Las Vegas. Thank you, Criss, for calling. And to all of our listeners, thank you for listening. Please tell your friends, if you've learned anything on this show, tell them what you've learned. And let's try to spread some optimism and positivity and find a way to get through this together. See you tomorrow. Be safe.